Now turn to Section 3. Section 3. In this section, you will hear 2 short talks about animals. Mark is going to talk about the koala. As you listen, complete the notes with the information you need. Now look at questions 21 to 29. Now listen to the first talk and answer questions 21 to 29.
Good afternoon. Today we'll have 2 students, Mark and Philip, to talk about animals. Mark will be the first. Mark, please get straight down to business.
Right. As you know, Australia has many unique species of animals due to its long geographical isolation, such as kangaroos, wallabies, koalas, wombats, dingoes, possums, platypuses, spiny anteteras, and so on. Today I'm going to talk about koalas. The koala is a sluggish, tailless, furry, arboreal marsupial. Koalas are different from state to state in colour and build, probably because of differences in climate and diet. In Queensland, for example, koalas typically have a red dish or tawny colour. In New South Wales, koalas are greyish with ash-like flecking. In Victoria, they tend to be heavily built, with a shaggy coat of a brownish colour. Koalas tend to be solitary creatures. They come together to mate in spring and early summer. At mating time, the males are noisy and quarrelsome. Baby koalas are born approximately 35 days after conception. Although furless and weighing only half of a gram, the baby koala climbs into the mother's pouch unaided. 6 months later, it leaves the pouch. By now, the baby koala is fully furred, and the mother carries it on her back or cuddles it to her chest for another 6 months. Normally, koalas have single babies, and twins are rare. Koalas become mature completely after 4 years, although the female is sexually mature at about 2 years. Koalas only eat gum leaves and drink no water. The Aboriginal word koala means no water. But of the 500 eucalyptus species, koalas eat only about 13. The koala's digestive system enables it to survive on a diet of gum leaves, which consist largely of fibre, which have a very low protein content. An adult koala eats around 1 kilo of leaves a day. In the wild, it is thought that the koala lives for about 10 years, although koalas in zoos may live for 20 years. The fully grown female koala measures about 60 centimetres. Males are bigger, measuring about 80 centimetres and weighing 13.5 kilograms. The koala has 2 thumbs on each forepaw, opposed to 3 fingers. In climbing, it grips mainly with these, and uses its rear paws for a toe hold in a swift jumping action. It seems that koala may not always have looked as they do today. A recent discovered fossil jawbone indicates an animal almost twice the size of today's typical koala. Also, it may have kept to the ground and even knocked over small trees.
Thank you, Mark. It's an interesting talk. Koala is my favourite animal. It's lovely and cute. Philip, now it's your turn.
Philip is going to give a talk about giraffe. As you listen, fill in the gaps numbered 30 to 34. First, you will have some time to look at questions 30 to 34. Now listen to the talk and answer questions 30 to 34.
Mark has talked about a small animal. I'm going to give you a talk about a very big one. It's the giraffe, a tall, long-necked, spotted ruminant. Male giraffes are usually about 6 meters tall. Half of the giraffe's height comes from its neck, which is longer than its legs. A baby giraffe is 2 meters tall at birth. It can stand up by itself within a few minutes and can run well in about 2 days. A giraffe has big brown eyes which are protected by very thick lashes. Since it lives in parts of Africa which are usually dry with a great deal of dust, the lashes are an important source of protection. It can also cover its nostrils in order to protect its nose. It has 2 short horns on its head. Like the camel, the giraffe can go a long time without drinking water. One source of water is the leaves which the giraffe eats from trees. Since it is so tall, the giraffe can reach the tender leaves at the top of a tree. Giraffes usually live in small herds and often feed with other animals. Giraffes have 2 methods of self-protection. If something frightens an adult giraffe, it can gallop away at about 50 kilometers per hour, or stay to fight with its strong legs. Well, that's all I know about giraffes.
That is the end of section 3. Now you will have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 4. Section 4. In this section you will hear a conversation about paper and its use. As you listen to the conversation, answer questions 35 to 42 by writing no more than 3 words for each answer. First, you will have some time to look at questions 35 to 42. Now listen to the conversation and answer questions 35 to 42. Peter and Kate have met in the coffee bar and they are having coffee together. Hi there, how are you going with your tutorial next week?
Oh, good. I've decided to talk about paper and its use.
Fascinating, I'm sure.
Yes, I think it's an interesting topic. Do you know how much paper you use every year?
Well, I've never thought about that. I can't answer your question. I suppose you can tell me something about it.
Okay. It'll be good practice for my tutorial next week.
How much paper does one person use every year?
In 1900, the world's use of paper was about 1 kilogram for each person in a year. Now, some countries use as much as 50 kilograms of paper for each person in a year.
This shows how far advanced the country is.
You're right. Countries like the United States, Britain, Japan, Germany and Sweden certainly use more paper than other countries.
I'm very interested in the history of paper. Are you going to talk about it next week?
Yes, of course.
Where was paper first made?
In China. The Chinese first made paper about 2,000 years ago. China still has pieces of paper which were made as long ago as that. But Chinese paper was not made from the wood of trees. It was made from the hair-like parts of certain plants. In Egypt and the West, paper was not very commonly used before the year 1400. The Egyptians wrote on papyrus, a kind of paper made from the pith of the stems of tall aquatic cyperaceous plants. Europeans used parchment for many hundreds of years.
What was parchment?
Parchment was made from the skin of certain young animals. They were very strong. We have learnt some of the most important facts of European history from records that were kept on parchment.
Oh, I see. How about paper in Europe?
Well, paper was not made in southern Europe until about the year 1100. Scandinavia, which now makes a great deal of the world's paper, but didn't begin to make it until 1500. It was a German named Schraffler who found out that the best paper could be made from trees. After that, Canada, Sweden, Norway, Finland and the United States became the most important in paper making. They are forest countries. Today, Finland makes the best paper in the world, and the paper industry of the country is the biggest in the world. New paper-making machines are very big, and they make paper very fast. The biggest machines can make a piece of paper 300 metres long and 6 metres wide in 1 minute.
Oh my goodness, that's amusing.
What are the uses of paper?
Paper is used for newspapers, books, writing paper, envelopes, wrapping paper, paper bags.
Yes, only half of the paper that is made is used for books and newspapers. Have you got an idea about other uses of paper?
No, I'm afraid not.
There are many other uses. Paper is very good for keeping you warm. Houses are often insulated with paper. You have perhaps seen homeless people asleep on a large number of newspapers.
Yes, I have. So they're insulating themselves against the cold.
You are right. In Finland, it is very cold in winter. It is sometimes 40 degrees below 0 centigrade. The farmers wear paper boots in the snow. Nothing could be warmer.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
Now more and more things are made of paper. We have had paper plates, cups and dishes for a long time. But now we hear that chairs, tables and even beds can be made of paper. With paper boots and shoes, you can wear paper hats, paper dresses and paper raincoats. When you have used them once, you throw them away and buy new ones. You know, the latest in paper seems to be paper houses. These are not small houses for children to play in, but real, big houses for people to live in. You can put one up yourself in a few hours, and you can use it for about 5 years.
Fascinating.
People have made paper boats, but they have not yet made paper planes or cars. Just wait, they probably will.
Well, I'm sure your tutorial will go really well. That is the end of section 4. Now you will have half a minute to check your answers.